You guys have heard me often rant about microtransactions or games as a service, which has taken over modern AAA gaming. Unfortunately, just a lot of the gaming companies we once loved have embraced these monetization strategies, which for the most part come off as greedy. We live in a time where the gaming industry is continuing to become bigger and bigger, but now a lot of the AAA publishers are following the money first, wanting their very own Fortnite or Grand Theft Auto Online or Rainbow Six Siege, which bring in absolutely insane profit. While I understand every publisher and developer is in the business of making money, we've hit a point where a lot of the big name publishers seem to be just about the money. For example, most notably Activision has turned Call of Duty into a loot box driven experience. Years ago you could buy weapons and camos, but once they saw other companies racking in boatloads of money off of in-game slot machines, they followed suit, which has led to games like Black Ops 3 and Modern Warfare Remastered, which feature nasty manipulative loot boxes. Let's not forget also their patents, which show that they were exploring ways to manipulate players into buying in-game items. Ubisoft pretty much stated a few months ago that they wish to stop releasing games and instead support games for a long time through live services. Konami recently showed us how slimy they can be by shoving microtransactions down players' throats in Metal Gear Survive. They had the actual balls to make players pay $10 just for an additional save slot. Square Enix additionally last-minute slammed microtransactions in a Mankind Divided, ruining the experience for many players. Warner Bros. Notoriously last year shoved a loot box system into their single-player game Middle-earth: Shadow of War, because apparently some people who are protective of their spare time and scared when a massive game comes along that they're not going to see the full experience, thus why the game has microtransactions, and actually that's their quote, not mine. Bethesda has also angered fans with paid mods, which they claim is not paid mods, but they revealed the Creation Club for Fallout 4 and Skyrim, which brought in new content like skins, weapons, game modes, and armor that players could pay for or just download for free through mods most of the time. 2K Games turned NBA 2K18 into a microtransaction mess in which everything in the game cost virtual coin, like getting a specific haircut style. The virtual coin you could get in game, but it would be an extremely annoying grind. Electronic Arts, well, I don't think much needs to be said, as they are the definition of greed with predatory microtransactions in almost all of their games.
And to be honest with you, they're getting, because it's nice to hate EA, blah, blah, I don't care about that shit. What I'm saying is this. All publishers fuck up sometimes, you know? Yeah. That's how it is.
Rockstar Games has also come under fire as many players feel Grand Theft Auto Online has become too much of a grind in which you're forced into buying shark cards. Valve a few years ago was embroiled in the CSGO gambling controversy, and additionally they have a Steam marketplace where players sell rare cosmetic items, one of which recently sold for $61,000. PUBG Corporation has turned their game PUBG's loot boxes into a cosmetic slot machine in which some players spend thousands on a rare cosmetic item through Steam's marketplace, very similar to CSGO. Microsoft has been all in on the games as a service strategy for a while, with many of their big games like Halo 5 featuring microtransactions and many players claiming a pay-to-win feeling. Now there are just so many examples that come to my mind, but this infection, which probably started around a decade ago, has continued to grow. It's important to understand almost every publisher has got caught and called out for their shady monetization strategies. The ones that really have not gone down this road is publishers like Sony and CD Projekt RED. Sony's very own Sean Layden even saying this last year.
In Worldwide Studios, we have a lot of energy, a lot of devotion, a lot of love around storytelling, around narrative. You know, some people call that single-player gaming. We do have most of our eggs in that basket, just because that's the thing we do well, I think. In my humble opinion, IMHO. And I don't want to go to any of those teams and tell them, you know, I read in a magazine that there's something called games as a service. Make me one of those. I don't want to be that guy. So that's what we do.
Although I do need to mention this, last year Sony's new CEO John Cadera, who's replacing Andrew House, revealed they would be exploring microtransactions, so we'll have to wait and see how they approach this when they do. But this leads us into the reason why this video is titled Cyberpunk 2077 versus modern AAA gaming, and it's because everything about CD Projekt RED's next experience is pro-consumer, and about the art over the money. CD Projekt RED is leading by example from a consumer perspective. When it was revealed Cyberpunk 2077 2077 was going to feature a multiplayer, there were worries that they were going to follow the microtransaction trend, and CD Projekt RED responded to those worries by saying, "Worry not, when thinking Cyberpunk 2077, think nothing less than The Witcher 3. Huge single-player, open-world, story-driven RPG, no hidden catch, you get what you pay for, no bullshit. Just honest gaming like with Wild Hunt. We leave greed to others." This was also right around the time Star Wars Battlefront 2 was under direct fire for its predatory and pathetic microtransactions, and many saw this response as a shot at Electronic Arts and the industry. Now, a few weeks ago, co-founder, co-CEO of CD Projekt RED, Marcin Nowinski, responded further by saying, "Conversation sounds way too nice to describe what was happening last year. I would rather call it community backlash, and this time around, it wasn't just the hardcore community. There was a lot of really pissed off gamers out there, and they decided to speak up. Where we stand is quite simple, and you can see it with all of our past releases, most recently The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and Gwent. If you buy a full price game, you should get a big polished piece of content which gives you many hours of fun gameplay. The definition of many may vary on a title by title basis, but in our case, it was always 50 to 60 plus hours of the main storyline with up to a couple of hundred of hours of side activities if you really wanted to max out the title. To me, this is a fair deal. You get what you paid for, plus we're always trying our best to over-deliver. There is no better PR than a happy gamer recommending your title to their friends." He would also say, "The moment they feel you are reaching out for their wallet in any unfair way, they will be vocal about it, and frankly speaking, I think it's good for the industry. Things often look great from a spreadsheet perspective, but decision makers often aren't asking themselves the question of how gamers feel, or is this offer a fair one? Gamers are striking back, and I really hope this will change our industry for the better." I often feel like all I discuss is the negative parts of gaming, and everything CD Projekt RED says is what I wished more companies were like. While I understand there are great development teams out there, many are stuck under publishers that solely care for profit. Some examples are BioWare, Eidos Montreal, and Rocksteady Games. Imagine if these developers were independent and could do what they wanted and not be forced into implementing online elements or microtransactions. CD Projekt RED fortunately has the luxury of freedom, and that independence is why I'm so excited for Cyberpunk 2077. 50 to 60 plus hours of main story is unheard of in gaming, and hearing a corporate executive understand gamers and how they feel is something almost never heard of, because for the most part, the huge AAA publishers, EA, Activision, and so on and so forth, care solely about the money. We are often told that microtransactions and games as a service are a must because game development is so darn expensive. CD Projekt RED showed us with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt and its 2 expansions that is not necessarily true, and with Cyberpunk 2077, they're continuing their mission of putting the player first by providing an even bigger experience. These are the type of games I hope and want to see succeed because it treats the players with respect, not seeing you and I as just a dollar sign. This is the difference between upcoming games like BioWare's Anthem and CD Projekt RED's Cyberpunk 2077. Anthem has faced heavy scrutiny because of EA's reputation of being greedy and how they went about their most recent blockbuster games. Cyberpunk 2077, on the other hand, just has its community and fans wondering when we will finally be able to get our hands on this experience. Anyway, I want to finish this video by asking you guys to list some of your favorite developers and publishers that treat their players with respect in the comment section below, because while I use Cyberpunk 2077 as a current and upcoming example, I understand that there are similar titles like Horizon Zero Dawn. But thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this video or found any informative value, and consider subscribing for more videos like this, and I'll see you later.